Previously on Pony Wars, we met the 3 build teams competing against each other to build the best 2019 pony car for the autocross, drag strip, and dyno, all on a $10,000 budget.
Of course, I can't tell you what they are. We'd have to kill all of you.
We'll relax when this sumbitch fires up, hits a lick, and got good oil pressure. Yeah. We'll go to the club.
Ooh. This is spectacular, is what this is.
Basically, here's the deal.
This is going to be a competition, and we are coming to win.
We're delirious. Dude, this smells like grape jelly. We are finally putting stuff back together. It makes us so happy. There's like so much on this project that is just taking stuff apart. But Scott and I got the timing chains back on this morning, got the oil pump torqued. It has a very specific sequence. Got that all done, got the timing chains on it. All the tensioners and everything is ready now to accept the front cover. So we got to put a tiny dab of silicone or RTV, some ultra black, in a couple of spots. And then we'll tip this sucker up where it goes. Dennis is breaking things over there. Oh, and officially, our competition over here has used more brake clean on that car already than any car in the history of ever. The only people that use more brake clean than them are top fuel teams, and they're no top fuel team.
You have no parts off the car. So today, each of us are kind of peeling off on a couple different jobs, and then we're gonna get some lawn chairs and watch the guys take one strut out of the Mustang.
I'll see Mr. Norris has got the fuel tank back in.
Oh yeah. Shit, well, I think we're gonna drive it out of the shop this afternoon at this rate. Team Camaro has spent most of our money and got most of our work done. Almost $8,000 of our $10,000 budget. At the core of our suspension upgrades, we have BMR's cold wound linear lowering springs and hollow sway bars front and rear to balance the handling. We outfitted the rear with double adjustable tow rods, non-adjustable trailing arms, upper and lower, and control arms to remove the sloppy erratic handling from the factory parts. For good measure, we added the 2 chassis braces, one's for the front cradle and one is for the rear.
You can swing that up in there if you want.
So I'm basically like a talking jack stand is what I am. We need this drive shaft here because we're gonna make so much power, it's gonna shatter the drive shaft. No, it ain't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whoa, hello. Why BMR? Why are we using their stuff on the car?
I mean, BMR is a leader in late model GM and a lot of other vehicles as well. The items we chose to go in this car were for straight line performance, to get rid of the stamped steel things that might flex with all the additional power we're gonna add, and then to really enhance the car in the autocross section of the competition as well. Because we are portly 3,700 pounds, we need every advantage we can get to get around that autocross effectively.
What you've picked as far as a kit, is it something that can do everything? What is it more leaning towards?
It's leaning more towards the autocross. The car is going to work fairly well in a drag strip as it is. We've proven that, but basically what we did was put the car up in the air. We knew what sort of budget we were working with, and we went through the factory OE components and saw where the most prevalent weak links were, and looked at BMR's offerings and chose from there to upgrade the weak links.
All told, our BMR purchases used up only $1,559.60 out of our $10,000 Summit budget. Combined with our engine build and another $130 for a ZL1 fuel pump, Team Camaro's total comes to $9,637.88. That's why we're gonna win. Motor's out in 2 hours, already doing bearings and checking for rod clearance and all that. All we gotta do is tighten up a few bolts, put a sway bar in the back. It's done. Winning. Hashtag winning.
I'd love to shoot the shit all day, but you got a lot of work to do.
No, my guys are handling it right now.
And that's part of the problem. See, Dennis, you've been such a...
over and it's 2 guys with the instructions.
After our, well, frustrating experience with the front of the car, we've fallen significantly behind, and it's time to make up some ground. We've spent a lot of our budget on suspension parts, so we have a lot of work still ahead of us. So we have a lot of parts here, Dean. I mean, a lot.
A lot.
But what's funny about it is we have way less than they do. We do have to put a new timing gear on the crankshaft.
Yep.
Other than that, the only modifications we're doing to the engine itself is fuel pump,
Thermostat.
injectors, thermostat, pro charger.
Yep.
Correct? Why do we not have a pro charger to look at here?
It's in the big box over there.
Oh, okay, good. Now this is where things get exciting to me. So, shock for the rear, strut for the front. If you're taking your new Mustang and you want to drag race it, Steeda has shock,
Drag racing springs.
We have drag race springs, exactly. The strut and the shock assembly is going to be the same. If you want to autocross and road race it, Steeda has autocross and road race springs. So the only thing is, because we are gluttons for punishment, while we are not going to build a new engine, we are going to change our suspension in between each event. Mm-hmm. But these springs are pretty badass. Look at that. What's funny is Steeda's been building camber plates for Mustangs since well, Fox Body days for sure, but maybe before that even. Okay, sway bars. The nice thing about these is that you'll see there's 4 holes here. As you go further out, the spring rate of this anti-roll bar gets softer. As you go tighter, it gets stiffer. So we'll be able to adjust that, which is kind of nice. Yeah. Oh, dude. No way.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, okay. This is a pretty neat deal. There's a lot more adjustability available because of the ball joint. That's going to correct some geometry. That's pretty cool. We only have a couple parts left.
Yeah.
So we have our Hawk pads. The factory brakes on these cars are amazing, but we can make them even better with pads. And these, the nice thing about these Hawks is that they have a bunch of different compounds. The ones that we are using are the HP Pluses, which are pretty cool. I actually run those on my station wagon. They are specifically designed to go with ABS equipped cars. The nice thing about them is that they're really good and grippy, but the initial bite, that nanosecond when you hit the pedal, is a little bit softer, and that's so that it doesn't shock the brake system and cause the ABS to go flutter, flutter, flutter. Dude, you keep your foot on the pedal and these things just bite and bite and bite, but without wearing out rotors so bad that you have to replace the rotors every time you do brakes. So I've been really happy with mine. I have 10,000 miles on mine, and I cannot speak highly enough about them. These are awesome.
Let's FaceTime my kids. Hey guys, this is Chad.
Hey guys.
What do we say at home about Mustangs when we see them driving around?
They're crash.
They're what?
They crash.
They crash. I thought for a second they said they're crap, but I thought maybe not.
Well, that too.
Oh, if you build them, they don't, is what he said.
Correct.
I have to tell you, I think your dad is awesome, but I will beat him.
What do you think, Bryson?
No, you won't. Look at him.
Mustang.
You do have good cheerleaders. The Camaro boys spent all their money on their engine and nothing on their suspension. We, on the other hand, have done the reverse. We've got a fuel system from Team Beefcake Racing and solid drivetrain parts in the form of a drive shaft and half shaft kit from G-Force. But when it comes to suspension, we bought Steeda out, including a knuckle-to-toe link bearing assembly, rear adjustable camber arms, billet vertical links, adjustable rear toe links, a rear control arm spherical bearing kit, diff mount bushings, inserts, and hardware, Steeda Pro Action adjustable shocks and struts, our 2 sets of springs for drag racing and autocross, a lateral link bump steer kit, front and rear sway bar kits, camber planes, a subframe alignment and support kit, 2-point G-Force track brace, and an IRS subframe brace. All totaled, we spent $9,524.24 of our summit budget, which brings our total spend to $9,914.18 out of our 10 grand budget. Dino, we have stock strut, we have Steeda strut.
Steeda strut.
The main body of these things is actually the same, but inside, Steeda's made huge improvements. So this has proprietary valving. It is rebound adjustable, which means we can loosen it up so the nose of the car gets up real high on the drag strip, or tighten it down so we keep it down and planted on the autocross. The top is also a big deal. So this is a wobbly rubber thing that's designed to be quiet and nowhere near precise. This, however, is a really cool upper bearing assembly, and then of course an adjustable caster camber plate, which makes it really good as well. These are our drag race springs compared to the stock spring. You'll note that the wire diameter here is larger on the factory one than it is on this one. This one lowers the front of the car 1.25 inches. The drag race rear spring is, for the rear of the car, will lower it 1/2 inch. Those are 800-pound spring rate. This is only 150. The 800 keeps the back of the car from squatting too much, so it keeps the tire level with that independent rear suspension.
All right, so we talked about the drag race spring.
Right.
Tell me what's different about the road race spring.
You can see that there's some coils that are close together and then some that are farther apart. So this has 2 spring rates. So driving down the road, this thing will be in the soft area, right? So it's still a comfortable ride. It'll be firmer than stock, but not harsh, right? But then when you really start throwing this thing around in a corner, once it moves a certain amount, it gets into that second spring rate, which is way stiffer and makes this thing handle like it's on rails.
So we're gonna throw some springs in, some shocks, and get a couple other Cedo parts in here, and we should be good to go.
We'll just stir some shit up.
Oh, hey, what's up?
I was just looking at, I remember when he originally did this, how much farther ahead you were supposed to be than us. I mean, you guys are just, I mean, you're not pulling an engine.
Never did I ever say we were gonna be ahead of you, ever.
Except
never. In the competition, but never in the build. That was never a part of it.
Wrong?
Never did we say we were gonna be ahead of you, ever.
I mean, James has technically hit their team leader and boss. James did say that they were going to be ahead.
I was going to start some shit, and all of a sudden I'm just watching these two do their thing.
Let's not forget the fact of how little they have to do and how much we have to do.
Yeah,
I know. But let's not forget that you build that car every week. What you're doing to this car, and I'm not saying it as a dig, like legitimately, you guys are so good. Oh, I agree.
The problem started at Mustang. I'll just leave it at that.
Damn, son. Look at those big.
We're gonna have a draw? Back to back?
Oh,
3 paces?
3 paces. Ready?
All right.
Okay, ready? I got you in the back, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not too proud. These are awesome. These are sauce-tacular right here. I'm excited about those. Did you see like the genuine when we opened the box?
We just stopped talking about other stuff.
I know. Okay, put them away because we have more.
Alrighty, the Hemi is 98% together, so we're gonna take it back over to the other shop, get the front timing cover, the oil pickup, windage tray, oil pan, and the intake manifold back on, then it's gonna go back in the car. With our Hemi set to triumphantly return to the bay of the Challenger, it's time to spend our last few bucks of this incredibly tight Mopar budget on managing this beast's power. Daryl and the rest of the team start by putting some of the ProCharger kit parts on before space gets tight. Yeah, mine went in.
Okay, give it a little bump. All right, good.
The engine.
We don't need it anymore.
Yeah, the engine didn't even fall out once. All right, I have a ton of the parts going on the Challenger, and I have the list right here. We're gonna go over them, talk about them, and I'm gonna show you exactly why we chose these parts for this car. And first off is G-Force. They provided these axles and this drive shaft for the Challenger. I'm gonna pull them out. I'm gonna go over the axles first because these things are insanely beefy and heavy, and they're just a lot better than the factory axles, and they're super heavy. So this is this kind of stuff I'm talking about. They're made of a better material here and in the CV as well. They bolt in just like a factory axle, but they actually have more angle, like this here. It's got more angle than the factory piece, and they're made in the USA. So I mean, how can you go wrong? On top of the axles, G-Force also sent us this aluminum drive shaft for the Challenger. It's a lot lighter than the factory drive shaft, but it'll actually put up with a lot of abuse. These U-joints right here, they're 1350. And they just come in different sizes. They come in 1310, 1330, and 1350, and so on. But the 1350 is just a nice upgrade. It's big, beefy. Let's see, what is next on our list? This is the big one, the RideTech HQ coilovers. High tensile strength Hyperco springs. They're also powder coated, which is nice. So going up and down, this isn't gonna flake off and crack like paint. So it'll hold up to the elements just like all the rest of these other powder coated parts. So we got the stiffer spring rates from Hyperco. And these are the monotube struts, shocks. Because these are coilovers, these would be struts. So all together, it's gonna look pretty sweet. Something like this. And that's what the assembly is gonna roughly look like inside the car. They're adjustable, which is nice and pretty much required if we're gonna have any chance at winning the autocross. And it's also really nice for the drag strip, so we can actually adjust this strut and, you know, tell it what to do when the car launches, as well as what it does further down the track. Next on the docket, SBC adjustable upper control arms. This is also something that's really, really important if you're doing any kind of racing. Because one, these bushings, just like a lot of this other stuff, these are upgraded polyurethane bushings. They have way less give than a factory piece, and also it has an adjustable upper ball joint, which is crucial when it comes to getting the car set up and aligned for the autocross and the drag strip, because you don't want camber, you know, on the drag strip, but during autocross going around corners, you definitely want this adjustable ball joint in here to set up your camber angle. This K&N box is what I'm really excited about, because with a supercharger, you want as much airflow as possible, and so K&N actually sent us a specific special intake filter that's gonna flow more than any other filters out there on the dyno. These things are really sweet. They've got a 100,000 mile plus warranty. They're reusable, so you don't have to, you know, discard these when they get dirty. You clean them with the stuff they send you, and flows just like new. And these actually flow a significant amount more than a factory filter. And when you're talking about a supercharger sucking in a bunch of air and compressing it, you need a good filter. I'm taking these there. It looks like beer koozies. Yeah. We're gonna be swapping out the oil, obviously, because we drained it all when we built the engine, and putting Lucas synthetic 10W40 back in it. After we break it in with our braking oil, this oil is gonna go in to replace it, and it's just gonna give us the protection we need inside the engine, higher RPMs, higher engine loads, going really fast down the strip and at the autocross. And also to top it off for protection, we have a K&N oil filter. These things are really nice because you can reef on them and make them really tight. A lot of times if you're under a car and you're trying to take an oil filter off, it can be a kind of a pain because they're super tight, but they actually put a wrench on end on these to get them off as fast as possible. And it's gonna provide the best filtration on the oil. Any debris, any little things that might've gotten in there, this filter's gonna take them right out. And yeah, that's it for the parts. Let's get all this stuff and install it onto the car. Aside from the major suspension and driveline parts already mentioned, we also purchased a Hellwig sway bar for the rear, BMR bushings and differential lockout kit, and BMR adjustable lower trailing arms, which brings our non-engine spend to $6,666.78 of our Summit money, and our grand total to $9,995.70. It's really nice that they designed these adapter flanges out of aluminum, so you're not gaining a bunch of weight, because that's one of the things on the factory drive shaft, where it bolts here, it's all solid steel, and that's a lot of rotating weight.
Yep, well, your drive shaft in the factory is also all steel full length.
Exactly.
So
carrier bearing, two pieces.
Yep, so one piece drive shaft, much larger diameter, is gonna hold a lot more power. You don't have a carrier bearing to fail. And then you've got the stronger joints too.
Yeah,
so everything about it is a lot stronger than the factory shaft.
So we were looking at the drive shaft angle in between that drive shaft loop, and it was crooked, and Daryl, you filled me in as to why that was.
Yeah, the center line on the transmission tunnel, starting back in the 60s, I think it was, with Mopar, is they actually took an inch away from the passenger, gave it to the driver, so the driver's area is actually 2 inches wider, and because of the transmission offset. And I believe, it's possible that they've even maintained it into these, where the whole drivetrain is actually offset to the passenger side by 1 inch from center line. And so it continues to be maintained for some reason.
Didn't you say everything from the seats to the steering column has like a driver's side bias?
If you get into the old Chargers, Challengers, even the steering wheel will be slightly tilted. The driver seat area has got extra 2 inches over the passengers because of that center line offset.
It looks like they adopted it for the drive shaft too. So ridiculous.
Yeah, you can still see it up in there.
I can tell you this. Look at this car. Look over there. Winning. Figured maybe we should polish this thing up, give it a little lug. It's new, but it can always use a little wax job.
It's been sitting beside Mustang for a week, so it definitely needs clean.
Yeah, it needs that Mustang wipe dried off of it. All right, well, it's time to put the crowning jewel on this 19 Camaro SS. It's reliable power. It's what these guys do each and every day. Well, I'm thinking two things. One, after we kick everybody's ass, what this thing's gonna make in power when you can go back and put some fun fuel in it.
Well, honestly, I was thinking, since we're actually so damn far ahead of the Mustang guys, when we finish tuning on 93, we ought to just put some C16 in here and change the pulley. We have ProCharger's optional 10-rib upgrade, so we can really let it eat right here and make a hell of a number just for the fun of it.
It might be a fun thing to do. Well, as Josh and Taylor wrap this thing up, I know we still have to do the Hawk pads and get some Toyos on there. The R888Rs are gonna be something that we're looking forward to, and I know it's gonna make it fun for you in the autocross to the drag strip. So just a little bit of stuff to go with. I mean, it'd be fun. Those tires are a great combination of something you can use on a daily basis.
It's funny because when I found out we had the opportunity to run the Toyo 888 on this particular application, I was excited because every one of my cars for the past 5 years, I've always ran Toyo's latest variant of the 888R. It hooks, even in drag applications, it hooks amazingly well, but it's a very fun street tire, great cornering ability, road course, autocross, things of that nature, but it doubles up as a good track tire as well. So we're super excited about that and looking forward to getting them on the car.
I guess I'm still gonna keep asking, am I gonna get to drive?
If you redeem yourself in the Rocker Challenge, we'll let you drive the car.
Where's those parts again? Arrington, FordNXT, you're in trouble.
Don't let them fool you.
How are we gonna have boost?